Hi. Okay. Action. There's no, um, I see a little green light. I don't know if that's where you look. Okay, so I had a near death experience, and I, it was completely lost on me until just recently. And, but my memory was that I woke up in a hospital and it was all bare gray walls and me in a steel crib. Basically, that was it. There was no beeping or heart monitoring. It's just this space. And this little boy with red hair came and he had really red hair, like, yeah. It's, um, a bag of cheesies, all things. And when he walked in, I said, hi. And I imagine he said hi. But I said, can I have one? Yeah, I wanted one. And he came up, he took one out of the bag, and he put it through the bars. I was in a crib. I was like 5, I think. It was a big crib. It was huge. It was not like any hospital room I've seen since. So who knows? I wonder if that's my good side. Yeah, I wonder if I have the good side. Because I really like to look my best. And I haven't looked my best for a long time. I'm kind of broken. This is my channel, it's what it's all about. But here we are again, coming up to my birthday in September, maybe, because all indication is that I have heart failure and rheumatoid arthritis is extremely painful. It's I just, my heart goes out to anybody who's ever had rheumatoid. The fluid goes into your nerve, and it's just a horrible arthritis, and you can't move, and you're dizzy. Well, that's part of the heart failure I'm supposedly in since August of 3 years ago. They diagnosed me with this heart failure and said, don't stress. I did say, though, at the beginning of my journey that I've when I die, I'm gonna die laughing. And I am. I can see it. I just look at people and I start laughing now. Like, I'm watching in Quebec, I'm in Quebec now. I ran for my life, for my family. I don't know what planet I'm on, but I ran for my life, for my family, and I'm 3,000 miles away. Well, actually, I went homeless and nobody would help me. That was basically the truth. And I had a bad reputation, a really bad one. You wouldn't believe what I've done. I hope, because they do believe what they heard. And it's not good that you know what? People are jealous of happy people. And I have been happy and energetic my whole life. And I've been a giver my whole life. I love spoiling people. And my career was all about helping people, motivating them to get up, and by example, because I was able to. But this hospital and near-death experience, I was different. Like, then there's no memory, nothing. Until I was sleepwalking at this apartment. And I was going down these steps because it was inside the apartment, but the steps were inside, and then there was a door down there. And I was just reaching the bottom when my mom popped her head over the wall and said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to Diane's to get candy." Yeah, so it was sleepwalking. And I remember her waking me up. I remember being there, And just, but it's like I've been hyper sensitive to everything. It's like I'm walking on coals all the time, starting with my mom. Out of 4 kids, she did not like me. Well, she didn't like my dad, and here, dads come and go, and especially in my family, I don't know anyone that doesn't have a divorce. I'm getting a little dizzy. I'll have some water and iced tea. Anyway, I just wanted to pop in and talk about my near-death experience. I was out in the alley, and apparently a car came and hit me. And I woke up for a minute in the car, and there was a cloth over my face, and I heard that I broke all my bones. And, well, I was pretty limp, And what unconscious is? it's when, you know, you're lying flat on your back or your front and somebody comes up with a stick and pokes you and you don't move. That's, you know, unconscious. Well, you wouldn't believe how many times I've been poked, you know, and I was unconscious to it. I didn't, I woke up, I have all those fucking bruises all over me. And what I'm saying is that we're all gonna wake up to our reality. And it's our own personal dream that we need to understand that each of us has our own goal and our own, you know, reasons for things happening. That's why I never ask for money. I don't want money. I don't want pity. Although my birthday's coming up and I was hoping to have 1,000 subscribers, if you wanted to do that. I have a hard time asking for anything. I wasn't raised to. And, you know, I had body dysmorphia like you wouldn't believe, because I look at these photos now and I go, oh my God, it was quite beautiful. But I didn't think so at the time, like at all, ever. So that's why I couldn't figure out, why are people jealous of fucking me? Why? And it's the happiness, you know, and maybe they thought they had to compete and didn't know how. And I tell you, I was just wondering myself how, when my mother targeted me, but I had a dream where I picked her. You know, like I've told you about that in this channel. I picked her. I was following this little girl and she was just 10 then. And it was in North Vancouver. And she was going up this little road and crossing the grass into this bungalow style like house with stucco, you know, the glass stucco was never fun to touch, that's for sure. Little glass stucco on this bungalow house, which was, you know, the wartime construction boom. Both my grandfathers built them, right, all around North Van, both of them. But since the day I was born, you know, my name was Gross Close when I was born. That's my name means. See, you know, it's too much, like, of a funny dream when you step back and you look at it like a dream. You know, you don't, you gotta step out of it from time to time. And, you know, I've always said, if I'm just fantasizing about Jesus and King James and Elvis and Trevor, and I was out of my head, psychotic or something, that's fine too, because at least I'm coping somehow and nobody else has taken the role I have become, you know, and I am that person, really. In my soul, I'm Mary, Queen of Scots. So you should read the book. It's really good. Still haven't finished it yet, though. I'm afraid of what's coming. I don't want to see. I know what's coming at the end. Uh, so I'm serious. I know. I know her soul. And if you read about that part, wow, it's amazing to read about. Reincarnation is real, right? So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. And I'm going to tell you about it because I'm conscious. You know, I'm not lying on the ground. And I'm very aware of my surroundings. And yet, I still have this knowing. You know, I don't feel unbalanced in any way, you know, other than my physical limitations. I've lost a lot of weight. And, my voice is really shaky, like, you know, who's that? Katharine Hepburn. You don't even know her. She's from the 1930s and 40s and 50s, famous actress. But you know what? It's all been about when somebody delivered a package. It's all been about, you know, the game here, an image. But people aren't living up to their name and image. You know, this is putting one out there and without any kind of I wonder what that is. Oh, it's terrible living in fear, and I've had such a hard time with my landlord. In Quebec, they have moved, you know, I like the security of lease laws where they roll over automatically and you're always in a lease. And I've been in this one for going on 8 years. And I have nowhere else to go and no money to go with. But my landlord now could get more money with me gone, and he's just terrible. It's terrible. We all have our problems, and this channel has been my kind of outlet and to help myself, really, because there's no help out there for me. It's a really weird ending, you know, like I can't believe it, that I had such a full life. I've been around the world, you know, in my career. I raised Trevor. That was dramatic. I was gonna say the psychopaths, the ones that create the drama, and then here, you know, leaves all these reactions from people, and they're the ones that look crazy because they're poked, right? And poked and poked, and the mocking of my being, you know, I'm just gonna say that everybody faces their own lesson that they wanted to learn, and I am doing that for myself. And what I had to face was self-love, you know, and being fearless. And these last few days I failed that big time because my landlord. But, you know, you just talk to somebody, and I did earlier, like the police, because I was that afraid. And you talk it out, you know. You wait until something happens. And I got no problem with that. It's just, you know, it gets magnified when you're under a lot of stress. Some of you would understand. Others would mock. And, you know, one thing I know is that we all pick our role. And nobody cares other than us in waking up to our dream. Nobody cares. And I just know I want to be a good person. That's all I need to know. I want to be a good person. But it doesn't get appreciated here. And also, you know, Quebec has language issue, so it's hard to make new friends. And I was supposed to go for this senior ice cream outing today for the first time, but I went into a little state of fear and I wouldn't open my door because I was sleep deprived, you know, and so I sort things out myself. I have the background to do it. What would I say to somebody else, right? And I do my own self-talk. And I highly recommend people do that. You know, if you're having a hard time emotionally or something, you know, maybe you catch on to something like I said that you could relate to. You could do the same, you know. That your problems will go on hold. Right? They'll always be there. So that's how I go into meditation is, well, it'll hang on while I meditate and I just kind of put it aside. Sometimes I see golden lights come out in my meditation, and you know, it's really hard for people right now, and I realize that. I've always wanted to encourage people and give them hope, and if you want, you can look at near-death experience people or stories about reincarnation, because I'm not the only one, and it's just that my roles were different, and they're kind of hard to believe on a world scale. But I've always said I'm just like anybody else. We're Christ's flames, you know, from the sun. We're all part of that one. And here we have an opportunity to use the human senses. You know, don't have them on the other side. And I don't feel it is a trap. I feel it is what we want. But we have to make it wantable, you know, like, to me, it's not what I want now. No, I won't pick here. I'll pick Pluto. Yeah, Pluto. Because this, as beautiful as it is, physically and literally, it's dull in color. The colors are muted here, not vibrant, and they're getting worse. And it comes from our imagination. We create from our thoughts and our imagination. And if we're sad and depressed or afraid, then it's dull and gray. I don't know what that was all about. We just wanted to come and say hi. Hi. I'm sorry I've been so, you know, absent. But, you know, everybody's got their own problems. And rheumatoid arthritis, I feel for you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. What time is it? Oh my God.